An absolute, seismic nuclear warhead just exploded across the entire global hip-hop landscape, and social media is currently standing in total, paralyzed, jaw-dropping shock. We thought we had witnessed every possible level of petty celebrity fallout, but what Drake just pulled off in response to Rick Ross's disastrous album release and empty world tour venues has officially set the entire entertainment industry on fire. After Rick Ross's 12th studio album, Set in Stone, suffered a catastrophic commercial collapse, moving a dismal 2,000 pure album units in its opening week while his world tour venues sat over 80% empty, Drake decided he wasn't going to sit back in silence anymore. The Six Gods stepped into the arena and delivered a ruthless, cold-blooded, 5-word reaction that went viral in less than 30 seconds, publicly declaring that Rick Ross's music career is officially finished. Drake didn't just align himself with 50 Cent's relentless trolling, he took it 10 steps further, publicly exposing how Ross's biggest boss identity is nothing more than a severe, multi-million-dollar optical illusion. But Rick Ross didn't back down. He fired back with a venomous, explosive counterattack, accusing Drake of secretly using automated bot farms and streaming sabotage to artificially destroy his tour sales. Stay right where you are, because what Drake dropped at the 6-minute mark changes everything forever. To truly understand the catastrophic, historic magnitude of this nuclear fallout, you have to look at the deeply complex, brotherly-turned-venomous history that exists between Aubrey Drake Graham and William Leonard Roberts II, the man known to the world as Rick Ross. This isn't just a basic social media spat. This is the complete, horrific disintegration of one of the most commercially successful and culturally iconic partnerships in modern hip-hop history. For over a decade, Drake and Rick Ross weren't just casual collaborators. They were an unkillable hit-making machine. Every time these two titans stepped into a recording booth together, hip-hop history was made. From timeless classics like Aston Martin Music, Lord Knows, and Stay Schemin', to massive chart-topping anthems like Gold Roses and Money in the Grave, the chemical synergy between Drake's smooth, melodic hooks and Rick Ross's booming, luxury-obsessed baritone defined an entire era of opulent rap music. They called each other brothers. They shared private jets, vacationed on yachts in Miami and St. Tropez, and routinely referred to their combined output as the gold standard of wealth rap. For years, Rick Ross benefited immensely from his alliance with OVO. Drake brought a massive, global, pop crossover audience straight to Maybach Music Group. Whenever Ross needed a guaranteed hit single to power an album rollout, Drake was always there to deliver a verse that would rack up hundreds of millions of streams. In return, Ross provided Drake with street credibility, heavy cosigns, and an aura of untouchable, boss-level luxury. However, beneath the surface of platinum plaques and champagne toasts, a silent, bitter rivalry was slowly taking root. As Drake transformed into the most commercially dominant music artist on planet Earth, breaking Billboard records previously held by the Beatles, Rick Ross began struggling to maintain his position in a rapidly evolving, streaming-dominated music landscape. The shift from physical CD sales to digital algorithms left many legacy artists vulnerable, and Ross was forced to rely heavier and heavier on his Drake collaborations to secure top-tier chart placement. The fragile brotherhood finally shattered into a million pieces during the explosive 2024 rap wars. When the entire industry lined up to fire shots at Drake, Rick Ross did what many considered the ultimate betrayal. He picked a side against his longtime brother. Ross jumped into the ring, dropping a venomous diss track titled Champagne Moments, mocking Drake's appearance, questioning his authenticity, and coining the derogatory nickname, BBL Drizzy. Ross went on a non-stop social media trolling campaign, posting videos wearing custom caricatured t-shirts, laughing at OVO, and declaring that the Sixth God was officially dethroned. Drake, known for his surgical, long-term memory, played the waiting game. He didn't rush into an immediate physical altercation or engage in endless back-and-forth Instagram live streams. Drake understood a fundamental rule of the music industry. Revenge is a dish best served when your enemy's balance sheet is exposed. Drake waited patiently in the shadows, monitoring Ross's career trajectory, tracking his streaming analytics, and waiting for the exact moment when the Maybach empire would show a fatal, irreversible point of commercial weakness. That moment arrived with the release of Rick Ross's 12th studio album, Set in Stone, alongside his highly publicized port of Miami Orchestra World Tour. Ross pitched the project as his grand victory lap, promising fans that he didn't need Drake or major label backing to prove he was still the biggest boss. But when the official first-week sales data hit industry tracking databases, the results were an absolute horror show. The album moved a shockingly low 2,096 pure sales, a figure so tragically low for a legacy icon that it sent shockwaves through every corporate boardroom in the music industry. To make matters infinitely worse, venue seating maps for Ross's global tour showed massive 10,000-seat arenas sitting over 80% empty, forcing promoters to issue desperate buy one get 50% off ticket discounts just to get bodies in seats. 50 Cent was the first to attack, mercilessly roasting Ross's low numbers and empty venues on Instagram. But the world was waiting for one specific person to weigh in. The man who had been called BBL Drizzy, the man whose verses had carried Ross's biggest records for 15 years, was sitting in Toronto, staring at the exact same empty seating charts. The trap was sprung, the receipts were out, and Drake was about to drop a reaction that would send Rick Ross's world spiraling into pure, unadulterated chaos. The nuclear detonation officially occurred at 2:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Drake was spotted in the VIP section of an exclusive venue in Toronto, surrounded by his core OVO inner circle. A prominent nightlife influencer went live on Instagram, capturing Drake standing near the DJ booth holding a glass of luxury tequila. The DJ, sensing the high-stakes tension in the room, suddenly cut the music and played a snippet of Rick Ross's iconic intro from Aston Martin music. Specifically the moment where Ross shouts his famous Maybach music tag. Drake didn't ignore it. He didn't walk away. Instead, Drake slowly took a sip from his glass, looked directly into the camera lens of the live-streaming phone, let out a cold, sarcastic, echoing laugh, and shook his head with pure, unadulterated disdain. "Turn that ghost town music off," Drake said into the microphone, his voice cutting through the venue speakers with terrifying clarity. "Tell BBL Ricky to give those 2,000 buyers a refund. The tour is empty, the album is dead, and the career is officially finished. Somebody go help him pack those empty chairs." The venue erupted into pure, uncontrollable, chaotic screams. The clip was ripped from the live stream and uploaded to X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, racking up over 25 million views in less than 45 minutes. Drake wasn't content with just a verbal jab in a club. Within an hour of the clip going viral, Drake took to his official Instagram account, an account followed by over 140 million people, and dropped a series of posts that systematically tore Rick Ross's biggest boss identity to shreds. Drake posted a side-by-side screenshot comparison. On the left side was a high-resolution photo of Rick Ross's custom $35 million Gulfstream G550 private jet, with the words, "Biggest Boss," painted on the engine turbines. On the right side was an actual, verified Ticketmaster seating chart for Rick Ross's upcoming concert in Denver, showing an entire arena drenched in blue, meaning thousands of seats remained completely unsold. Drake captioned the post with a brutal, razor-sharp bar that instantly trended at #1 globally. "You painted Biggest Boss on a jet you can't afford to fuel, but you can't sell 2,000 CDs to pay the venue lights. 2,000 copies isn't a release, Ricky. That's a private family order." Grinning, squinting face, the curtain came down, and everybody saw the stage was empty. RIP to the Maybach myth. It's over. The internet completely exploded. The psychological damage of the hit was catastrophic. 50 Cent immediately jumped into Drake's comment section, posting 20 laughing emojis and writing, "I told you, Drizzy." He giving away 50% discounts in his own city. The jig is up. Memes flooded every single social media timeline. Digital creators created side-by-side videos showing Drake performing in packed 50,000-seat stadiums while overlaying audio of crickets onto footage of Rick Ross's sparse concert crowds. The optics were completely, utterly fatal. For 15 years, Ross had shielded himself behind an illusion of infinite, untouchable wealth. But Drake had used cold, hard concert metrics to turn that illusion into a national laughingstock. Inside Rick Ross's private compound in Star Island, Miami, absolute total pandemonium broke out. Leaked reports from staff members inside the estate indicated that Ross was sitting in his living room watching the drama unfold on a massive wall-mounted screen. When Drake's Instagram post went viral, Ross reportedly flew into a terrifying, blind rage, slamming a crystal decanter onto a glass coffee table, shattering it into pieces, and screaming at his management team to get his public relations and security teams on an emergency conference call. Ross was trapped in a nightmare. If he stayed quiet, the entire world would accept Drake's declaration that his career was officially finished. But if he responded, he risked drawing even more global attention to his dismal album sales and empty venues. Driven by pure, unadulterated fury, Rick Ross decided to go nuclear. He didn't issue a polite press release through his publicist. At 4:15 a.m., Ross launched an emergency, unannounced Instagram live stream directly from his patio, wearing a silk robe, smoking a cigar, and looking dead into the camera lens with bloodshot, enraged eyes. "Drake, you a whole snake and a corporate puppet." Ross roared into the phone, his voice shaking with intense rage. "You sitting over there talking about my tour venues being empty? Let's tell the world the truth about why those ticket sites glitched out. Let's talk about the automated bot farms and streaming sabotage your team paid for behind the scenes." The live chat went into an absolute state of frenzy as over 500,000 live viewers tuned in. Ross leaned forward, pointing a diamond-encrusted ring directly at the camera. Ross made a jaw-dropping, explosive allegation. He claimed that Drake and his corporate affiliates at OVO had secretly hired a prominent cybersecurity firm and automated bot network to launch a massive, coordinated digital sabotage campaign against Maybach Music Group. Ross claimed that Drake's team had deliberately flooded ticket distribution servers with fake hold orders to make venue seating maps appear empty to casual fans, while simultaneously using algorithmic suppression to block his new album tracks from appearing on major editorial streaming playlists. "You spent millions of dollars behind closed doors just to block my streams," Ross screamed, his face turning red with anger. "You scared of what happens when the real music drops without your corporate backing? You calling my career finished? I built this empire with my own hands. I own my land, I own my wingstops, I own my masters. You don't even own the voice on your records. You write your songs with 5 different ghostwriters in a room." It was a furious, desperate attempt to turn the tables and reframe his commercial failure as a victim of Drake's corporate sabotage. But just as Ross was finishing his explosive rant, a massive, second unexpected twist dropped that turned his whole defense into an absolute nightmare. A prominent music industry news outlet published a verified, leaked email originating from inside Rick Ross's own distribution company. The leaked email, sent 3 weeks before the album even released, showed Ross's executive team admitting in plain, brutal black and white text that pre-orders were tracking so low that the label was considering pulling all radio promotion funds because there is zero organic consumer demand for this project. The revelation hit the internet like a freight train. Ross was live on stream blaming Drake's bot farms for his failure, while his own label's internal emails proved that everyone inside Maybach Music already knew the album was going to flop weeks before it dropped. The live chat erupted into total, merciless mockery. Viewers began spamming the stream with clown emojis and typing, "Your own label said you flopped, Ricky. Stop blaming Drake." Ross looked at the comments, realized his own labels. Email had just leaked live on air, froze in absolute horror, and abruptly ended the live stream without saying another word. The abrupt termination of Rick Ross's live stream didn't stop the disaster. It triggered a global digital earthquake. News outlets, financial blogs, and hip-hop reaction channels went into complete overdrive. The narrative that Drake had officially put the final nail in the coffin of Rick Ross's music career became the lead story across every major entertainment platform. The hashtags #Drake finishes Ross, #BBL Ricky flop, and #Maybach Ghost Town were trending at the top of every social media network worldwide. Then came the second, massive unexpected twist that escalated this feud from a petty internet roast into a high-stakes corporate legal thriller. At 11:30 a.m., an investigative journalist published a bombshell report revealing that Drake's legal team had just officially served Rick Ross and Maybach Music Group with a formal, multi-million-dollar cease and desist demand and intellectual property audit notice. The legal filing contained a mind-blowing, unprecedented revelation that sent shockwaves through the entire music business. According to the documents, Drake's legal team is officially revoking Rick Ross's authorization to perform, stream, or profit from any of their iconic collaborative tracks, including Aston Martin Music, Gold Roses, Lord Knows, and Money in the Grave, on his current world tour or future live performances. Read that again. Drake didn't just laugh at Ross's empty tour. He officially blocked Rick Ross from ever performing their greatest hits again. The legal demand explicitly stated that because Ross had breached master licensing and co-ownership agreements by publicly disparaging Drake's brand and using his likeness to drive promotional controversy, OVO was exercising its contractual right to freeze all performance clearance licenses across global venue networks. If Rick Ross steps onto a stage anywhere in the world and tries to perform the hook or verse to Aston Martin Music or Money in the Grave, venue promoters will face immediate, multi-million-dollar copyright infringement lawsuits from Drake's legal team. The sheer, diabolical genius of the move left the entire industry speechless. Drake had effectively stripped Rick Ross of the most popular, crowd-pleasing songs in his entire concert setlist. Think about what this means for a Rick Ross concert. Without Drake's hits, Ross is left with a setlist stripped of its biggest commercial records, forcing him to perform in front of already empty arenas without the very songs that fans paid to hear. Drake immediately capitalized on the legal strike, posting a short video on his Instagram story, showing himself sitting poolside at his embassy mansion in Toronto, casually sipping a drink while playing an acoustic instrument. Drake didn't say a word in the video, but he added a caption that delivered a ruthless final blow. "You can't perform my hits to fill your empty seats anymore, Ricky. Perform those 2,000 album sales instead. It's officially over." Zipper mouth face. The internet completely lost its mind. The realization that Rick Ross was now legally barred from performing the biggest songs of his career turned the situation into the most humiliating corporate execution in hip-hop history. Memes depicting Rick Ross standing alone on a stage holding a microphone in total silence flooded TikTok and X. Promoters who had booked Ross for upcoming festival appearances began panicking, calling his management team demanding to know if he could legally deliver his promised setlist. Inside Ross's camp, absolute total breakdown occurred. Sources inside Maybach Music revealed that two major festival organizers in Europe immediately placed Ross's upcoming headlining slots on administrative hold, citing the legal risk of venue copyright lawsuits from Drake's legal team. Ross was facing complete professional checkmate. His album had flopped, his tour was empty, his own label had admitted there was no demand, and now Drake had legally stripped him of his biggest hit records. Driven to the absolute edge of desperation, Rick Ross's legal team launched a frantic, emergency counteroffensive. They issued a public statement claiming that Drake's cease and desist was an illegal, bad faith attempt to restrain trade and sabotage an independent artist's tour, announcing that they were filing an emergency federal injunction to block Drake's performance restrictions. Ross's lawyers argued that Aston Martin Music and Gold Roses were joint cultural assets that belonged to the fans, and that Drake was abusing his corporate power to destroy Ross's live touring business. But just as the public was waiting to see if a federal judge would step in, Drake's legal team dropped a single, terrifying response that left the entire industry frozen in suspense. "We welcome the court hearing, because formal litigation will require Rick Ross to present his complete, unedited tour ticket sales, streaming accounting, and venue capacity data under federal court oath." The threat was lethal. If Ross pursued the injunction, he would be legally forced to lay bare his exact, embarrassing ticket sales data in public federal court records for the entire world to see. The entire global entertainment landscape erupted into absolute, unprecedented madness as the war between Drake and Rick Ross reached a fever pitch. The culture was fiercely divided, creating one of the most toxic, aggressive online debates in music history. On one side, hashtag Team Drake and OVO supporters declared a total, decisive victory. Fans flooded comment sections across every platform, hailing Drake as a cold-blooded strategic genius who had delivered the ultimate payback for Ross's betrayal during the 2024 rap wars. Drake gave Rick Ross his biggest hits for 10 years, and the moment Ross turned on him, Drake took the hits back. One viral tweet with over 180,000 likes read, "You can't call a man BBL Drizzy for 6 months and then expect him to let you perform Aston Martin music to pay your mortgage." Drake completely wiped him out. On the opposing side, hashtag Team Ross and hip-hop purists fought back aggressively, accusing Drake of using corporate legal tactics and petty copyright claims to destroy an authentic hip-hop pioneer. Drake is using corporate lawyers to bully a rap legend because he can't handle real criticism, an influential music blogger argued. Stripping an artist of the right to perform collaborative songs that shaped an era is petty, malicious, and terrible for the culture. Drake is acting like a corporate executive, not a rapper. Major music executives and festival promoters held emergency private calls to discuss the massive legal precedent set by Drake's performance ban. Industry insiders admitted off the record that Drake's move had rendered Rick Ross commercially radioactive, with event organizers terrified to book Ross for fear of facing copyright lawsuits from Drake's powerhouse legal machine. Podcast hosts, legal analysts, and reaction channels dedicated multi-hour live streams to dissecting the fallout. Analysts pointed out the stark, terrifying reality of modern music economics. When a legacy artist loses their primary hit-making partner and their live touring revenue simultaneously, their entire corporate empire faces immediate structural collapse. Meanwhile, memes mocking Ross's situation reached astronomical viral numbers. Millions of users created viral videos acting out fake scenarios of Rick Ross standing on stage trying to hum Drake's parts of Money in the Grave, while venue security guards watch with copyright papers. Every minute that passed without a clear legal resolution added fuel to the raging fire. Was Rick Ross's music career officially over, as Drake claimed? Or could the biggest boss somehow find a legal loophole to save his world tour and rebuild his Maybach empire? The public was reaching an absolute boiling point, hanging on every single notification, waiting for the next explosive update. Just when the world believed this high-stakes war had reached its absolute legal standstill, a brand new, jaw-dropping revelation dropped that completely shattered every single expectation and flipped the entire story into dangerous territory. At 5:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, an official corporate filing surfaced from the state of Florida, revealing that an undisclosed, newly formed entertainment investment entity had just submitted an official, high-bid offer to purchase the entire debt portfolio and catalog master rights of Maybach Music Group. The filing showed that this anonymous investment group had already acquired a controlling interest in Maybach Music's underlying distribution liabilities from various financial lenders, positioning them to take total corporate control of Ross's label if he defaults on his upcoming financial obligations, and who is listed as the principal legal representative and primary managing partner of that investment entity. A high-profile corporate entertainment attorney who serves as the chief legal counsel for OVO Sound and Drake personally. Read that again. Drake isn't just banning Rick Ross from performing his collaborative hits. He is actively trying to buy and own Rick Ross's entire Maybach music catalog. If the buyout goes through, Drake will officially become the legal owner and master copyright holder of Rick Ross's music, his label name, and his entire life's work. The realization hit the culture like a nuclear explosion. Drake is on the literal verge of owning the master recordings of the very man who called him BBL Drizzy. Sources close to Rick Ross report that upon learning of Drake's catalog buyout filing, Ross went completely silent, ordered his security team to lock down his Star Island estate, and canceled all remaining media and radio appearances. As the news swept across the internet, Drake posted a final, terrifying 6-second video on his Instagram story. He was sitting in a dark, luxurious studio room, wearing a custom OVO ring, holding a leather-bound folder labeled Maybach Music Group Acquisition, and smiling with a cold, victorious gaze. Drake didn't say a single word. He simply tapped the folder with his ring, looked directly into the lens, and let the screen fade to total black. This is no longer a rap feud. This is a total, historic, corporate execution. Will Rick Ross find a way to block the buyout before Drake takes legal ownership of Maybach Music, or has the Six God officially ended the biggest boss forever? Stay locked in, because part 2 of this historic war is dropping next, and the music world will never be the same. We are watching absolute history unfold right in front of our eyes, and this war between Drake and Rick Ross has officially reached a terrifying, historic peak. Now I want to hear directly from you. Do you think Drake was completely justified in declaring Rick Ross's career finished and legally banning him from performing their collaborative hits? Or did Drake go way too far by attempting to buy out the entire Maybach music catalog? Is Rick Ross's biggest boss persona officially dead? Or can he somehow find a way to bounce back from this total commercial nightmare? Drop your raw, unfiltered thoughts in the comments section right now. I am going to be down in the comments replying to the best responses over the next couple of hours, so let's get the debate going. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and get instant, breaking news alerts the exact second Ross's legal team responds or Drake executes the catalog buyout, you need to take action right now. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and turn on all notification bells so you never miss a single second of this escalating war. We have emergency sources tracking every legal filing in Miami, Toronto, and Los Angeles, and our next emergency breakdown video is dropping very soon. Don't get left behind. Subscribe right now, lock in, and stay tuned for the next explosive update.